I don't hear myself through my headphones. Yes, man. Like, I feel real good about this right now.
Pay attention, because you are now listening to Permission to Speak Freely.
Tater Zeta, man. Like, I got so many evals. Look, so I got the department still too. So I gotta get those evals chopped and get them to the department head. But then all of them gonna come to me. You know what I mean? Then I gotta chop again. So yeah, bro, I'm busy right now, man. And you know, then
did you start looking at them?
I started looking at the ones in my department. That's the ones I've been looking at now. Look? But I haven't.
How they look?
Man, you know what, man? I just wanna say this, man. Like, and no bullshit. And this is not everybody. I know people listen to my pod, and I don't want to like say too much, man. But I want to say also, man, like,
shit.
Like sometimes we gotta think, and sometimes we gotta say, you know what you put into it. You know what I'm saying? This is what you know what I mean. You gonna get, but I don't want to do that though, man. Like I'm looking at it like I'm trying to throw nobody in the buzz, bro. But like if you ain't got no opening and closing, bro, how you gonna turn an eval in? And got no, and I'm a senior command. You ain't even got to open and closing on this thing, man. Like
sometimes it's what you put in.
Yeah,
these
man.
Chiefs, like, right? Who these Chiefs? Who you looking at? Chiefs,
bro.
right?
Yeah, man. So I was like, woo.
It's crazy, ain't it?
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy, man. I don't.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, man. Like it make you say
that's like an early do. That's like an early do better. Like I know how it is. Look, man. I know how it is, man. Evals, like we gotta, all of us, like as a whole, like every single person, man. Like not to put nobody on the spot. I'm trying to get my lights right. Hey, I'm on duty too, by the way, y'all. So if y'all know how I go when I'm on duty. If the duty phone ring, I'm gonna answer it. But yeah, we gotta do better. I'm not pointing anybody out, but like, yo, come on, y'all. We've been in the game way too long, man.
Yeah, man.
I think I talked about it, right?
Yeah, you did. You talked about it before, man. So one thing about me though, man, like a lot of us, even my department though, like in my department, we do a lot of the same stuff. You know what I mean? It may just be a different functional area where we do a lot of the same stuff, man. So it's not hard for me to, go into my department and move shit around and boom, boom, boom. But it's some stuff about evals, man, and I'm not gonna get into the weeds about, but it's some standards to the eval. You gotta at least hit the standards of the eval, man. Like hit what we've been doing for years, man. At least hit that for your boy, man. Hit that for your boy. That's all I'm saying.
At a certain point, right, you would expect something, right? I think I'm telling you, man, I think a lot of us, right, and I'm like I said, I'm not pointing out nobody, but a lot of us be out of practice with a whole lot of stuff. And like we expecting somebody else to do it, whether you're a chief, senior chief, whatever. You could be a senior chief expecting either a master chief or a chief to do something. You could be a chief expecting either a departmental LCPO or your first class to do something.
Yeah.
And a lot of us be like out of practice, man.
Yeah. And then at the same time, and you're right. I mean, and then me at the same time, man, like for my stuff, man, it's hard for me to talk about myself, you know what I mean, or whatever the case may be. But I have these go-tos, man. You guys know who you are, man. I got these go-tos. Almost every time I write an eval or whatever, I send them to my go-to. They check these out. You know what I mean? Yeah. They always got some pointers for me. Hey, check this out. Too much this, too much that. Take this out, take that out. Hey, so guys out there, man, you got some go-tos, man. Find your go-tos. Help your boy out, man. Help your boy out. Go to your go-tos, man.
I'm assuming you don't got my right email, man, because I never see your I never get it.
Hey, man, you want to be one of the go-tos, man. I got you, bro. Because you can write, man. I show you love, man.
Somebody, so one of the bros sent me an email, the eval earlier in the week. He sent it to me early in the week, and he asked me to take a look at it, and it was real good. Like it was a breath of fresh air. I sent it to my boss, civilian boss, so he could look at it. I'm like, yo, this might be a breath of fresh air for you, because some of this stuff we be seeing. I ain't even gonna sugarcoat. Some of the stuff we be seeing crazy. You know what I mean? So I sent it to him, and he looked at it. He was like, yo, yeah. MMC looked like he a rock star over there in Annapolis. You know what I'm saying? From that eval that he sent me. He gave me props. He's like, we bust down eval so many times that like this what it's looking like now. His eval was looking real good. And then my civilian supervisor too. Shout out to him. He left yesterday. It was like his last day at work. I sent him a real heartfelt message. He listens to the podcast. He gonna hate hearing me do this, but I ain't gonna say his name or nothing. I just want to shout him out and say I appreciated the time that we worked together. It was really, really good. It was really, really good.
Most definitely.
Hey, so
man,
like I said, I'm on. What's up?
Go ahead. I know we.
No, I just.
Go ahead.
Nah, you go. Go ahead, man. You go. It's like we in a car now, and I'm like, yo, go. Like, you go. No, it's cool. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to be quiet. You go.
So we talked about the Do Better segment real quick. We want to go ahead and get these Do Better out, man. Get a couple of these.
No, not yet, man.
Okay. I wanted to make sure. I know you mentioned it earlier, man.
I want to shout out the listeners. I want to shout out the listeners. First of all, if you're a brand new listener and you made it this far already and you didn't turn us off, I appreciate you for making it this far, right? If you're a new listener after last week's pod, after the last pod we did, I do want to tell you that this not going to be a podcast about history or like a podcast about anything important. We just going to do some talking about a bunch of random stuff. That's what we do. Then every now and then we get a really good guest and they give us a really good heartfelt story and stuff like that. And we try our best to get it and make it happen. But shout out to the listeners, all of our listeners, especially the ones that been here. All of y'all are just as important, but the ones that have been here since day one, I do want y'all to know that this month has been our biggest month ever to date as far as listenership and downloads. So we are still a growing podcast. So we appreciate when we see that growth. So shout out to all of y'all.
Most definitely, man. Much love, man. Much love, man, out there, man. And when you guys show us love, man, it just make us more hungry to come on here and do this stuff, man. So keep showing us love, man. And we're going to try our best to keep putting out a good product for you guys to listen to while you guys head to work, while you're at home, while you're doing whatever you're doing. We're going to try our best to get a good product out there for you guys to listen to. So keep showing us love, guys. Thank you.
What you think our listeners do when they listen to us? What do you think they do?
Well, I tell you what the guys that I talk to at work, man, I can tell you what they do, man. It seems like, so we, like, you guys know we do roughly like a 2-hour pod, right? So I got this guy, man, at work, man, and he always talking to me about anything he listens to, whatever. If he hits his brain, when I come in, he looking at me when I come through the door. Hey, when I come through the door, I know he got something, man, right? So but he works like, say, 15 minutes from the job. So that's when he get his time in, man. So we got 2 hours, so 15 minutes. So
he got the whole week. He got the whole week.
But every time he get in there, man, he always got something, man. So it's always in his car.
He got a new point. Yeah. He got a new point every day.
Yeah.
Hey, hero of the week. And the next day, do better.
The week was good.
That's what's up. I appreciate them, and I appreciate however they listen. My ideal listener is on duty, right? On watch, but got an AirPod in, right? And like, well, you step back, man. They all watch, right? But they got an AirPod in.
Don't do it to yourself.
But they turn in the perfect direction to see if somebody. It got to be a CCS watch standard, right? They turned in the perfect direction, right? To see if somebody coming in. I know how people do when they got like the window open on the computer, something that they not supposed to, that they got the other window, they can hurry up and pull, no. On duty though, maybe just chilling. You already stood your watch, you out. It's funny, like probably none of our listeners listen in this state, right? But you on duty, you already stood your watch, and you just out on a fan till, folks are just chilling, watching the sunset. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
You watching the sunset, man, and just listening to the pod. You know what I'm saying? That's my ideal.
That's a good duty day, bro.
Person.
That's a good duty day,
man.
Too, bro.
Somebody like, hey, man, you want to come eat chow with me? Nah, I'm listening to Permission to Speak Freely. I'm gonna just grab my food and go back to the fan tail.
Let's go.
That's my ideal. That's my ideal listener, man.
That's good.
Hey, so our last pod, right? We did it with Master Chief Ponciano, right? Amari Ponciano. I want to shout him out. One of the biggest reasons why I want to give him a shout out is outside of us doing what I think was a great podcast. I really liked it. We don't normally ask people, what do we want to avoid? We don't normally ask people that question. Like, we just ask questions, right?
Yeah.
But what the weight of what I felt like the topic was and what I felt like his experience associated with the topic was, I wanted to make sure that we asked him, hey, is it anything you want to avoid? So we did ask him that.
Yep.
And bro said nothing was off the table. Like, he said nothing was off the table. And that was real live stuff, man. And I really appreciate that. So I want to shout him out for that. Because, I mean, it could have been a lot of stuff. Hey, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. He said nothing was off the table. And we had a super transparent episode. And it felt like we was about to start getting to it at the end. Bro, it felt like we was about to start getting to it.
Hey, we most definitely need to get him back on here, man, because we was about to get to it, man. Like, I mean, he's a guy too, though, man. A lot of experience, man. But on top of that, man, like he holds people accountable. I like when he started talking about holding people accountable, holding himself accountable, and all the Chiefs. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, man. That gets me riled up, me pumped up, man. I love those type of conversations, man. So we most definitely gonna be getting them back on here, man. Have a great conversation.
Yeah, another great. I was ready to go for another 2 hours because he was starting to drop gems at the end, man.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so coming off a wholesome pod like that, though, I usually shoot for straight ignorance. You know what I mean? Like, that's normally my goal, is to level out the playing field for the listener, right? So, you know, we might have a brand new listener here, like, oh man, they just did a podcast about the trauma, the tragedy, the terrorist attack, what happened on a coal. What these guys gonna talk about next? The Indianapolis, you know, Battle of Midway, Coral C, Sullivan Brothers. No, we're not. We just got a bunch of randomness to talk about. So we want to level it out. So because I want our true fans to stay with us through and through, our true listeners to stay with us through and through. So if you coming back expecting another Cole-esque episode, it's not happening today. You know what I'm saying? But we are going to have a great time. Yeah, we are going to have a great time. And we definitely going to do. I got a question for you, Damon.
Yeah.
If you did a podcast by yourself, how would that go?
Well, first off, I have to find something I feel like I'm well versed in, man. So it'll probably be a sports podcast. It'll probably be talking.
Oh no, it would have to be this one. If you did this
one,
podcast,
if I was doing this one,
yourself.
How would it go?
Yeah.
Oh man, it will. If I had it, oh man, it'll be similar. It'll be a conversational type podcast, man. And I just be talking about. I'll make it something that I'm talking about experiences. You know what I mean? In the Navy, like whatever experience it is that I can elaborate on the most. That's probably on where I go with it, and then I elaborate on, because you know how your mind start turning when you start talking about stuff. So I'm assuming whatever I start talking about is gonna start turning, bringing back memories, bringing back, you know what I mean, like you know, some good stuff that I had to encounter about something, and I had to figure it out, because a lot of times in my young career it was like, hey, go figure it out. So I'm sure I can come up with some stuff that I was told to go figure out, and how I figured out may have not been the right way. So
yeah, man, growing pains, stepping stones, right? Mine would be, did you see Don't Look Up with Leonardo DiCaprio? It came on Netflix. So it's a movie on Netflix called Don't Look Up. It got Leonardo DiCaprio in it, Jennifer Lawrence, Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill. I would be like remiss if I skipped Kate Blanchett, Tyler Perry's in it, of course. But like, it's a whole lot of people in this movie, right? But in the movie, Leo is like a scientist, and he's trying to warn the world that it's an asteroid or something that's about to destroy the Earth. It's like a comet, an asteroid, or something that's about to destroy the Earth. And nobody's listening to him and Jennifer Lawrence or whatever, right? Meryl Streep, the president. So eventually he goes on the news, and like after all of this, like his life was flipped upside down. He goes on the news and he just get frustrated because it's like one of the morning shows and they doing the same. It's like, you know, the type of morning show where they like pet animals. And so they doing the same kind of like rhetoric that they would normally do. And he like, yo, I'm trying to tell y'all that the world is about to end in like a couple weeks or whatever like that. And they just, you know, so he goes irate. Like, you need to watch this movie. It's not. I thought it would be movie of the year because it's Leo, but it wasn't. All good. But he's still like this one scene where he just went crazy or whatever. But if you can't think of that, I know you can think of like every other disaster movie where like the dude knows that the world is about to end, but nobody else knows it yet. Mm-hmm. And he just going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got like a podcast or a radio show and he's just going crazy. Right. My last connection on there is not to get religious, right? But I was told before, right? This could not be true at all. Who knows? But I was told before, like, that Jesus had wrote like a chapter in the Bible, right? There's like a rumor, like a whatever, like a theory or whatever. Jesus wrote a chapter in the Bible, but like the monks took it and they hid it away because it was too scary, because it was like all the truth. Like, yo, you guys are, y'all are fucked. Like, it's like this is it. But that's what my podcast would be. All of that is what my podcast would be if it was just me, right? It would be grim. It would be dark. I would be like the irate, frustrated dude. I would probably get canceled like mid episode 1, right? And it's funny because we don't even record live, but somehow mid episode 1, whoever it was, the SEC, whoever it was, like, would stop me like mid episode and cut me off, right? It would be so dark, so grim. So I'm glad that I do this with you. You know what I mean? Because you like, I'm reading this book called The 5 Languages of Appreciation at Work. I'm written by the love language dudes, of course, Gary Chapman and them. But so I want to give you a little appreciation, man. I'm glad I do this with you because you level me out, man. You really stopped me from getting canceled, because I would be canceled mid episode 1, man. It would be so dark. I would be so frustrated. I would be kicking it out, man. I see things every single day that just put me on like a mission to just go on a rant, bro. Like I really do, man. And it's crazy because not everything is from like the junior sellers. Some of the things come from us. Some of the things come from us. You know what I'm saying? So those things, frustrate me. A lot of the things actually come from us. You know what I mean? So those things, they frustrate me. So I'm glad we do this. I'm glad we do this thing together, man.
Yeah, man. I feel you on the things that frustrate me. I was frustrated today. I wanna see, can I say this without pissing people off in my job, man? But I'm gonna say it anyway, man, because you brought up a point, man, like today. Like, something frustrated me today. Well, yesterday actually, man. I'm probably gonna hear about this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. So we had this we got a chief that work just had a baby, right? Congratulations, on to her and her family. Not gonna say her name, but her and her family, congratulations. Mm-hmm. She had the baby on the 19th, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I just found out yesterday she had the baby.
Oh shit,
bro, that was 27.
You heard you the DLCPO in the department that she works in, right? Oh, you the
SEL, okay. Yeah. And I just found out. But now, with that being said, everybody else knows. Not everybody, not all the team knows, but the whole chain of command knows. You know what I mean? Like the DLCPO, the ACOS, and all those, they know. But I don't know. So I kind of like, it kind of just made me like I felt a little bad. I ain't gonna, what first thing we want to do, man? We want to congratulate them, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, congratulate them, get them something, but I can congratulate it like 10, 11 days later, bro. That made me look like I don't care about the situation. You know what I'm saying? But I was a little frustrated about that today, bro. Hold on. Yeah.
All right, so let's kind of, and this is because I'm your friend. Let's dig a little bit here, right? Is it anything you could have done better?
Yes, it is something I could have done better because she does something for us that hasn't been done. So that's how it all came about. You know what I mean? It haven't been done in a couple of days. So then somebody asked me, what about this? So that's where all the story, I could have probably picked up on that a little sooner too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I didn't. But that's how it all came about. You know what I mean? But I'm going to say one more thing. I'm not going to point too much of the fingers because another thing happened where she had the baby. She put it in a chat. We have our own overall chat. So the person who's supposed to told me was like, hey, she put in the chat. She thought we put it in the big chat, but she didn't. She put it in a own little separate chat. So that's kind of that's where the mix up came in. She thought already knew.
I'm assuming that y'all don't see each other like the way that I'm trying to think of the best word for it, and I can't right now. Oh, ecosystem, I guess. All right, yeah, let's use that. With the ecosystem of your command, y'all don't see each other all the time that much. If you the SEL, you might not see every chief. Like you could go
not all the time. Because some of us we be on ships sometimes. We be all the place. But most of the time we see each other though. Because a lot of times we on the same ships. But I haven't been on ships. You know, my back been jacked up, so that could plays a little part in it too. So yes.
Yeah, I got the same thing where it's like, hey man, before you tell, it's not like, I know people always think it's like a, hanging up on your pride type thing, but it's like, hey, before you like go past, the department and like you tell CMC something or you communicate something with CMC, if it gets to that point of importance, like, yo, let me know. Just talk to me. Just give me the word so that I'm tracking it, right?
Yeah.
Because no matter how much you think that it don't matter to me, or to you it doesn't matter to me, when CMC find out about it, it don't matter what the situation is. He's going to ping back to me. He always does. You know what I mean? He going to ping back to me. And, sometimes I think it's like a test. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, do you know about, such and such and such and such? So it's like, hey, no, and what am I going to say? We all chiefs and stuff like that. I'm probably, okay, I got you. I'm tracking. Yeah. You got it. You doing this, you doing that. Hey, I'm about to go tell CMC that I got this, that going on. But I mean, it ain't, ain't much is going to happen. You know what I mean? Anything this week you got into, man, before we get into these crazy topics?
Yeah, I got a couple things, man. One, because I know how concerning, everybody is about my back. So I want everybody to know I had the MRI yesterday. So I don't have no results of it yet, but I'm feeling better, so next week, hopefully Monday or Tuesday, I get some results back. I start some physical therapy next week. But I do think, man, I'm gonna have to make a decision on surgery or not, man. I'm going to choose if it's a way I can get better without having surgery. That's where I'm gonna go regardless. But I got that feeling with they talk about that sciatic nerve type deal. I'm still having that type of stuff happening, man. Like my leg, and I feel it down the back of my leg still. It's been over about almost a month, So I think it's some pressed up against that nerve or whatever. But I'm feeling better though. Feeling better, man, and hopefully MRI let me know what's going on, man. And then
you think black people's think black people are scared to get surgery?
Hell yeah, I'm scared.
You think black people scared of surgery, bro?
Hell yeah.
I don't meet any black people that like when they start talking about surgery that they be like, okay, it don't matter what kind of surgery it is. Like it could be elbow surgery. You know what I mean? They like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go under the needle for this. I might have to live with this elbow injury for the rest of my life.
Bro. And then what's crazy, man? Like everybody that's in my office, like, yeah, man, I had some issues with my L4, L5, sciatic nerve, and I got this surgery done. All these guys saying this stuff, right? Like it's not a big deal, like it's nothing. Yeah, I got this surgery, blah blah blah. Bro, I ain't trying to get no surgery or nothing. I ain't trying to get it done, man. Like I had surgery on my stomach, right? And I woke up like that. I was getting the appendix done, but I woke up like that because they found some stuff that was already in there. You know what I mean? I might have to live with that thing, man. I had a tumor. I might have to live with that tumor.
You ever watch the movies where it's like this dude said I'm gonna have to live with the tumor? Hey, you ever watch the movies where like the person bone is like protruding? It's like it was like a movie a while ago. They was in a cave, man. It was called like The Descent, I think. It was like these European girls or whatever. And one of the girls' bone was protruding. I think that was the movie. And they like, yo, the only thing we could do is like snap it back in place or whatever. And she's like, go ahead. You can see like the bone out, the blood and all that. I can't see nobody in my family saying, go ahead. Like, it's like, yo.
Whoa, man.
Like, yo, leave well enough. Leave well enough alone. Let go and let God.
Bone snapped it all.
Yeah, let go and let God. They be on the gurney, leg hanging off the gurney. They will not let you do anything to them, man. It's crazy,
true,
bro.
That's
and
true.
when we go down, bro, we go down. We be in a hospital for days and days.
For real.
My wife was in a hospital damn near like a week and a half the last time she got surgery.
Yeah, man.
Anything else you've been up to this week?
Well, man, one more good thing I know everybody probably want to hear too, man, is football training camp started back up, man. So all the training camps, so football is right around the corner now, man. It's almost back, man. So it's always a good thing, man. Always a good thing. Yeah, man, what you got, man?
So, well, first of all, we can't tell Ella and Angeline this, but our women viewers on YouTube are higher than our male viewers, man. So we must be looking all right. We must be looking all right, these frames. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
The contact info is in the page under the thing. I get in trouble. I get in trouble. But hey, thank y'all too for subscribing and supporting us as well. Nothing really this week. I got a burger burn tomorrow. If you never heard of a burger burn, we selling burgers somewhere. We got grills. Because I never heard of a burger burn until I joined the Navy. So I might be some young listener that never heard of a burger burn. But we got a burger burn tomorrow that I'm gonna be a part of. I'm looking forward to it. Nothing major. I'm filling in for CMC next week. So that just started. I'm on duty. Hung out with my granddad. It's crazy. I hung out with my aunt. Who was in the Navy. She went from E1 to a lieutenant commander. I think that's what happened. At some point, I'm going to talk to her about a whole lot of stuff. But we talked about a lot of stuff. She worked at the Pentagon. She did a whole lot. She was always like working with flag officers and stuff like that. So we had some great conversations. It's crazy now being, it's been a while since we had the Navy talk. And every time I'm higher and higher in rank, I understand more and more what she, went through. Especially now when I work in the capital region. So I work around a lot of people that work with officers, flags, and stuff like that. So, she was literally like in the Pentagon, like joint chief, like working, having to give administrative paperwork to like joint chiefs of staffs and stuff like that. So she was really in the mix of it. She actually, I think, worked in the area that got hit on September 11th. But she wasn't. Of course, she had retired, I think, 2 years before that. But me and her had some great conversations. She came and hung out Saturday, and then the next day, she was actually the reason why I joined. We talked about it earlier, way earlier podcast. Her and my uncle, who was a CMC. But she came and hung out, and then the next day we went to Philly and hung out with my granddad and all his grandchildren, like so all of like my sisters and brothers' kids and stuff like that. Came back to work. It's pretty much been, planning for the Chiefs season, trying to get whatever I got from CMC so, we can move forward and, figure it all out. So that's pretty much all it's been, man. So at some point, I can't get too deep into this story, right? But when I was in SEA, one of the other students in there, he was telling me a story. I can't get too deep because this dude would probably really actually, he got one of those rates that he would actually probably kill me, right? But he was telling me a story about, it was a human trafficking story, right? So it was about sellers and they was trying to run off on like these sex workers overseas, right? Because I was talking to him about pot and then I was talking about sex trafficking and I was talking about the military and I was talking about how one day we broached the topic, but like I hurried up and got off of it, right? But and then he was like, "Yo, I got a story for you." So it was like two sellers. They had sex with some sex workers overseas. They ran off on the sex workers, right? But these sex workers, they happen to have a pimp, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the pimp start looking for these guys. The pimp, find out that they sellers like rather easily, right? The pimp find out that they sell it so easy because the pimp is a damn seller.
Oh,
the pimp was a damn seller too, bro.
No.
So like,
my goodness, dude.
So needless to say, like all these dudes had to fly back to their command so they could, so they could go to mass and it could be taken care of, So somebody getting fucked in that situation. You know what I'm saying? No pun intended.
Hey, that's funny as shit, man. Like, hey, you thought you finna slide him up out of there, huh? You thought it was a wrap, huh? You thought it was over. I got away. No,
yeah.
No.
Yeah, man. They all got in trouble. It was a funny story. He told it so much better than me, but it was a funny story, man. Like, I just can't imagine that. You know what I'm saying? But apparently, like, these dudes be going. I don't really remember where it was, and even if I did, I probably wouldn't say it. Because I don't have much information on it. But apparently, like, these guys go overseas and like turn over sex workers. Like, some of these dudes are going overseas and like when they turning over that job position, they turning over they got like sex workers under them, right? And it's, it's a serious, serious topic or whatever. But like they going overseas and they turning over like, hey, I got 6 workers or whatever like that, and that's part of the turnover, bro. It's crazy, man.
That's crazy. Man, you know what, man? When I think about shit like that, man, like, no shit, man, for me, I'm talking about I could be single. It doesn't matter. My brain doesn't think like that, bro. I'm too scary for shit like that, man. Because I always feel like if anybody get caught, it's gonna be my ass, man. I always felt like that. So I try not to do like crazy shit like that. I feel like that's crazy right there. You know what I mean? Like, to even like be out there you in the military, you trying to pimp some freaking sex workers.
Pimp, yeah.
I can't see myself doing that because I feel like I get caught easily, man. Easily. They'll just show up and I'm just like, I know
you gonna come to work with you gonna come to work with a mink on? You gonna come to work with a mink on? Like,
that's how I get caught. That's like pinky ring on, blind, like, you know what I mean? Like, I know I get caught easy.
It was, you ever been in a situation where like a ship or something where somebody either was a sex worker or somebody was a pimp?
Nah, not
for real.
I have heard, stuff like that, man, but I never been like involved or never been or like been in the same, location than like that. But remember when I went to the carrier, man, it was a lot of talk. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The carrier, yeah. We know your hands was clean, Damon. Like, we know your hands was clean. You know what I mean? But I'm thinking about the carrier because you've been on carriers.
I was a carrier, man.
I've heard, a lot of. I say all that because I was on a cruiser and we had an incident of somebody being, pimped or whatever. However, you kind of communicate it, and it wasn't enlisted. It wasn't an enlisted seller. But we had an incident of somebody, being pimped, and actually, the person, I don't know. It was, I don't want to get into anything that I don't remember. But yeah, man, it was crazy, bro. It was crazy. But I know you've been on carrier, so I know I've heard. Yeah. I know you was 7 decks away from any of that at all times.
Yeah.
Never got
that spider senses type like shit, that. Man. Spider senses, man.
You just happened to one day hear a story. Oh man, that might have happened on my ship.
Yeah. But man, that's kind of how it happened, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure. And I'm serious. I'm sure. I know you ain't really had nothing to do with that crazy stuff, right? Did you see the trailer for Black Panther?
Man, let me tell you about this trailer for Black Panther. I'm gonna tell you, I have not seen it, and the only reason why I'm talking like this right now because my daughter has been telling me for the last freaking 3 or 4 days, you need to watch this freaking trailer, and I have not watched it yet. So, yeah. She's been telling me though.
It looks great, right? It looks great. I ain't gonna get it. There's some controversy about it, but I'm not gonna get into that. Accept the art, however they chose to provide it. Is my opinion. But it is a little bit of controversy about it. But what I will say to me is like Marvel, for instance, and I ain't gonna get too deep into it because we got some Navy topics to kind of get into. But Marvel to me is like DJ Khaled, bro. You know what I'm saying? I look at Marvel like I look at DJ Khaled. Like, yo, y'all had some hits, y'all had a whole lot of hits, but recently y'all been kind of stale,
Mm-hmm.
To me, recently y'all been kind of stale with like little hits here and there, but y'all been having some misses recently, and I think you could survive another decade off of novelty alone, but like it ain't hitting there. Everything ain't hitting like it used to be to me, and that's DJ Khaled to me. Marvel, like you could get the big names, you could get the big budgets, but it's like, yo, we need the art. bro. Like we need something good.
real.
Black Panther. Yeah, Black Panther looked like it's gonna be that. It looked like it's gonna be better than the first one. I didn't think the first one was the great movie that everybody else thought it was, but I thought it was good. I didn't think it was bad at all. I just didn't think it was like this timeless like movie that like everybody else kind of felt like it was. But the second one to me, from the previews alone, looked better than the first one. But people say Marvel got a thing about giving you these great previews or whatever. But it looks yeah, the trailer looks incredible. The music by Thames, singing "No Woman No Cry" by Marley, and then I can't even. It's the thing about the music and the way it's mixed that you gotta watch. I don't even want to give it up to you. It's it looks good. I'm sure Shuri is going to be Black Panther. I don't even know why we like hide in it or like why they. You gotta watch the preview to know what I'm saying. They introduce a new character, a big time character, Namor the Submariner. It just looks good. I don't want to geek us out for like all the listeners that's not really into Marvel. So I don't want to geek us out, but it does look good. Last thing though, I do got one more Marvel question. What you think is the best Marvel movie that you've seen?
Ooh, bro. Oh man, that's gonna be hard for me right there, man. I'm gonna give you a couple of man that I like, man. I like those. I like the first. I like the first Iron Man, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then I like the first Captain America, man.
The first one?
The one where I like the one maybe in the second one. I like the one with him and Winter Soldier, but I think it's the second.
That's the second one.
Second one. Yeah.
So that to me is the best Marvel movie so far. The Winter Soldier to me. The Winter Soldier, Captain America, Winter Soldier. I think that's the best Marvel movie. Yeah. I don't even think another one, like people give it to like the Infinity Wars and all that, and Endgame. I don't even think they are close to Winter Soldier. I think Winter Soldier is the best movie that the Marvel producers have made. It might not be like the best of the comic book movies. It might not be the best of the campy movies, but as far as a movie, it played like a Cold War era spy thriller or whatever. To me, it's the best Marvel.
It had a dope ass storyline, bro.
Yeah. You know and that's yeah. I think that's the best one. I think after that, it was Captain America: Civil War. That was the third Captain America, which I thought was decent too.
Yeah.
I think it was the best movie. I just hope Marvel ain't throw everything into the last two Avengers movies and then they kind of running out of steam and they got to go with like.
I tell you what, that last Doctor Strange ran out of steam for me, bro. I was not feeling that, bro. I'm just be real. I wasn't feeling that, man.
Yeah, I ain't like it. I did like Wanda. I did like Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, Wanda was
outside of her.
Yeah.
I thought the movie was campy. I thought it was like corny. Actually some real cheesy, scenes. And I thought it was just me. Then later I read an article about Sam Raimi, the director, who like wanted to add cheesy scenes in the movie. And like, they like, no, you can't or whatever. But then they kind of let him, do it. And then I realized, like, I'm like, oh, it's not just me. He wanted it to be campy. Mm-hmm. And I think Marvel gotta, like, you can't get every great director. Like, you gotta like look for, because that dude, like Sam Raimi is going to put his touch on a movie. And I don't think Doctor Strange, coming off of the last Doctor Strange, should have had that Sam Raimi touch. You know what I mean? And that's just my, my own thoughts on that. Yeah. And I'm tired of them wanting Thor then kind of turned into a comedy. I ain't even watched the new Thor yet. But.
And I'm not, me either. When they come on fucking TV, somewhere screaming, that's what I'm watching, man. And they're just coming straight from the trailers, man. Like I'm not finna go watch that, man. Not in the theater, man.
Like Love and Thunder. Like I don't even want to see nothing called Love and Thunder, to be honest with you, man. It's like they took Guardians of the Galaxy concept and like threw that in with Thor. Or it works for Guardians of the Galaxy, but honestly, the first two Thors, I ain't liked them at all. I did like the third one, but I ain't like the Ragnarok. I like that, but I ain't like the first two Thors at all, really.
Yeah.
I thought they were trash. You know what I mean? But all right, like off Marvel, sorry y'all who had to listen to us kind of rant about Marvel. Y'all can let us know if y'all got the same picks as us. If Winter Soldier is your favorite Marvel movie. If it's not, what is your favorite Marvel movie? Yeah, let us know. And post y'all deployment picks, please, 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 man. For me, I don't know about Damon, but for me, post y'all deployment picks. We went on a deployment and was on a ship. You know what I mean? Like we was on a ship for the whole deployment. So I'm seeing people now overseas, enjoying that liberty. And I miss it, man. So go ahead and post them pics. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad about it. I'm trying to see all of it. Your Guams, your wherever you at, your Haifas, your Guams, your Australia, wherever y'all at. I'm trying to see all of that.
Send it.
The restaurants, the clubs. I was looking at some old deployment videos, bro. Man, what was I doing back then, man? What was I doing, bro? Before you got married, right? This is a before you got married question, man. I know I'm probably not gonna have no luck with this answer, bro. But
probably not. But go ahead.
Did you ever do a body shot, man?
Nah, I ain't do no body shot. But you know what though? Let me explain. No, I never did a body shot.
Okay.
But what I will say this, man, what's crazy is that, dude, I didn't start like drinking alcohol, man. I was like 21, 22, man.
Uh-huh.
So I was never like even doing none of that type of stuff, man. I don't know, man. Even when I first started drinking, man, like one of those things, like it was one of my birthday. I don't know, it was 21 or 22-year-old birthday, man. They got me, man. Ever since then, man, you know what I mean?
What you mean they got you?
You know what I mean? They talked me into drinking, man. Like I was not. I mean, my whole time, man, I never was drinking. And most of the time, man, those first 5 years in the Navy, man, that was my most deployments I've been on. Probably my first 5 years in, man. So. But yeah, man. Yeah. So no body shots for me, man. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead and tell us your body shot story.
I passed out. I'm not gonna tell nobody. No, I'm not telling nobody shot story.
I thought you had a body shot story, man.
I mean, I might have one, I might, but I'm not about to tell it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't about to tell no body shot story, man. I ain't about to tell that like that. All right, so speaking of this is bad. I'm sorry about this. I'm so sorry about this. This is a real bad segue. But speaking of body shots, right? This has nothing to do with Navy, but it was a story. Did you hear this story? I want you to kind of thought about on this.
Yeah.
A father. Man, I hope this is real news or whatever. But if it's not, I welcome the permission to speak for you. But a father was publicly shamed because his daughter was turned away from a water slide for being 5 pounds over the weight limit, and she was humiliated. So it says a dad, and I'm interested. So I don't find this funny. I'm interested in thoughts about like this story and what people think. So I'm interested in like feedback. So it says a dad has told how his daughter was publicly humiliated after being turned away from a water slide for being 5 pounds overweight. He said she was left in tears after being forced to step on scales in front of crowds at a water park. I'm trying to see. She was 13 years old. It says he had to watch the guy. They walked up. The guy said, "You need to step on a scale." She steps on a scale and she's 205. The newly opened Mississippi Monster has a weight limit of 200 pounds, meaning the team was, it says, just 5 pounds over. But I don't think they should say just when it comes. My own personal interjection is I don't think you should say just when it comes to the safety of a ride at any park or whatever. But it says she was just 5 pounds over. So she was 13. She was 205. The weight limit was 200 pounds. They made her step on the scale in front of people. She was humiliated, and her dad was humiliated. And I think he's going to do something about this. And reading comments, a bunch of people are saying that like the park was right. The father's wrong. The father needs to be looked at. Why is his daughter 200 pounds? I'm just talking about what people saying in the comments. Why is the daughter 200 pounds? If she is, what are you doing? She's 13, stuff like that. So just what's your thoughts on that? I know that's probably like a hard topic in these day and times to cover, but what's your thoughts on that?
So two things off the back that hits me home with this, man. One, if you have a rule in place, you got to enforce it, right? If you don't enforce that rule, you can interpret it any kind you want. any way you want to, and you can manipulate it any kind you want to. If you don't enforce it, you'll manipulate it, right? So I feel like in a certain way, if it's 205 or whatever it is, if it's over whatever your rule is, you don't let them ride. But they go my second part to that is the weigh-in thing shouldn't be a public thing. If you got to take somebody and weigh them to make sure, you probably had it off to the side in a covered like little area. You put it in there and then have like a little back door to it. You weigh them in, they don't make the weight, they can go about their business through the back door or through the little side spot or whatever. You don't humiliate people in a public spot like that and say, you out of here, you can't do it. I don't agree with that. But I do agree for them enforcing their rule. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense to me. I just wouldn't do it in front of, the whole park. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would have to go to the park and see what's going on and what it looked like that day in that place. Because you might have to have some controls established as well, because you might have to have more than one person at the gate. I'm assuming when you wait, I'm assuming that their thought process is because you have to be this tall to get on this ride thing. It's normally like in the line of the ride or somewhere in the vicinity of the ride. So I'm assuming that in their case, they trying to get people in fast, right? So for instance, if you are 199 pounds, let's say you've been waiting in line to get on the ride.
Yeah.
And the ride takes like 18 people, and now it's up to you to get on the ride. It's your time to get on the ride, but they gotta weigh you, right? So they take you somewhere else and weigh you. Do they hold off on loading the ride until they weigh you, till they leave with you, come back? Do they load the ride? Like, what's going on? Maybe I might be overanalyzing it, but if you leave, you lose your spot. You already been waiting. Do you care? Do you not care? Are you gonna complain about that? Just what's some of the thought process? Do they have the manpower to like have a person at a weigh station for that? I'm assuming their general assumption is if you think you're not of the weight, then you probably just not even going to get in the line or whatever like that. But that don't work with everybody. People do get in the line or whatever like that. So I'm not under 200 pounds. You know what I'm saying? I'm above 200 pounds. So that means I wouldn't be able to get in there. I'm assuming this was like a kid's ride. I don't know. No, maybe not. I'm just above 200 pounds. Maybe I'm just a big dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you most definitely got to be there and look at it, man. But on top of that too, man, like the humiliation for her being 13, man, like maybe the people who was doing the rides too, maybe didn't know she was 13 either, though. You know what I mean? You never know.
They might not.
But at the same time, though, personally, what you said make a lot of sense, though. But I'll probably hold that spot for him right there. You know what I mean? Take him off, wham. I most definitely wouldn't wham there and put him in the back of the line. That's crazy.
Yeah, tell him like you're gonna be next up. We're gonna go weigh you when you're gonna be next up.
Yeah.
And I guess if they can't get on a ride, then I guess that means that they're gonna go a separate way. Like they won't kind of come back so they don't feel, humiliated. A lot of people was getting at the pop, like saying you should be humiliated. You know how, comments are or whatever.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know, I just wanted to know your thoughts on that, man.
Man, and at the same time, man, I understand where Pop's coming from, though. Like in the end, you ain't finna humiliate my kid in front of the world either, though. I mean, I understand. I understand. At the end of the day, that's my. I mean, I feel a certain type of way about it, but at the end of the day, that's my kid too, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, now what I'm saying I'm gonna do and all this type of stuff, whatever. I mean, I don't think nothing in the legal, realm. They got a rule in place, so I really don't think nothing you can do there. But having better facilities for stuff like this is probably a way you can go about it. Not saying you trying to sue them, not saying you trying to do that. No, I think you guys should do this a better way because you're gonna have young kids out here that's getting humiliated. So is it a different way we can do business, that to help out with this situation? This happened to my daughter. We always learn from incidents, right? We learn from stuff. So hopefully they can learn from that incident, and do better, I guess.
And they did. It looked like they ordered new water tubes for the Mississippi Monster Slide to increase the weight capacity for the ride. So it looked like they fixed it. The father is upset though. He says the company should be responsible for mental impact on the daughter. So they probably got a lawsuit coming. And they are season ticket holders, and they vow not to return. So it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot of that. It's a whole lot of that, you know. So yeah. So that was a story. That was a story.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So I got a question for you. When you text, right? When you either send or receive a text, um, do you have like an immediate expectation? So for instance, right, I'll break it down to you. If somebody texts me, right, because this is something I think I gotta get better at, right? If somebody texts, like send me a text message, for instance, if I'm driving, uh, as soon as I get to like a stoplight, right, I feel like I need to respond to them.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I need to respond as soon as possible. If I send somebody a text message, it's normally like it's like the time is important. Like it's like I'm not sending a text message that I'm expecting you to respond to like the next day. And like now I'm starting to think like text messages are not for like immediate responses. Like I feel like if that's the case, then it should just be a phone call. So I mean, what about you though? Like, do
Yeah.
you expect a response like within 5 minutes after you send a text message?
Well, I guess it depends on when I send it. You know, I mean, if I send a text message out, yeah, I mean, you looking for a response, of course. But if I don't get one, I'm assuming sooner or later, you know, they gonna hit me back. It depends on what's going on. I know I have several times what have happened to me was, say I could be in a meeting, I'd be in a situation, and somebody texts me and I can't hit them back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I freaking hit him up like later or some shit, maybe whatever the time may be, but I might hit him up later. But my expectation most of the time, man, is like, man, you're right. I mean, it's situational though, man. Because if it's something important, you hit them with something important, you tag that, oh shit, I gotta freaking hit them back because it's important. But if I feel like if I can wait a little bit, maybe I can. Then sometimes you forget about it. If you wait, you forget, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden later, you know. But I do expect it though. You know what I mean? I text somebody, I expect somebody to text me back. But if they don't, you know what I mean? Sooner or later I probably hit them back, say, man, you get my last message or whatever.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was talking to one of my boys, and he was kind of breaking it down. Like, "Hey, man, like, I'm like, yo, I just be expecting like immediate response. I respond immediately, text messages. It's getting to a point where I need to stop even looking at my phone or grabbing for my phone when I'm in the car. Like I'm
yeah,
starting to do that more, I think, than I've ever done it before. Like, all right, I feel like I have to respond. I feel like especially if it's work related. Like if it's work like Navy related, like for instance, like if CMC shoot me a text, it's like, yo, I gotta get back to him. If one of the sellers shoot me a text, like
yeah,
anybody, a seller, civilian officer, yo, I have to get back to him. Like right now, I don't want them waiting on me. I don't want them waiting on me.
yeah.
Where like some of them, if I talk to them, they like, yo, if I'm texting you, it ain't as important as, if I was to give you a
Call 'em.
call. If it was really important, I would call you.
Yeah,
So I think personally, I gotta get better at that. Because I was at like I was saying, I was at one of my boys' commands and he was breaking that down to me. He was like, hey, a text is a line of communication. He was like, it's no time constraints on that line of communication. You respond whenever you are able to respond. He was like the same
yeah,
thing as an email or phone. He's like, no, when you start going days and days and days out, then it's a problem. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I was actually at my boys' command. I ain't gonna get too much into it. But he's a command senior chief, and it was a great experience, man. I had a really fun time. It was an eye opener in ways. Some things happened. It was that kind of opened my eyes, but they opened my eyes to make me want to go command, bro. They
yeah.
open my eyes and make me
Most
want to go
definitely.
command. I know it's some master chiefs on here that been talking to me a lot. Like, yo, bro, when
Yeah,
but I think that is the route like that I do want to take. And I know it's some
yeah,
master
man.
chiefs
Most
that,
definitely.
a couple of master chiefs that hit me up like, hey, bro, when you ready, let me know. But I do
Yeah,
think I think I'm gonna want to go command. For the situation that he was in was an interesting situation. And I would talk about it, but I would prefer to talk about it with him if he was willing to talk about it. And I'm not sure if he would be willing to talk about it.
yeah. I tell
But
you,
it
man,
was it was
my
cool.
plan. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, man. It'd be some crazy situations out there, man. That was my plan too, man, to go the command route too. But this didn't work out for me. But I most definitely think that's a route you should go, man. Like no crap, man. That's and when talking about sailors and dealing with sailors, man, all the time, man, I love stuff like that. So
Yeah.
most definitely, I think it's a route you should go, man.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Hey, so I'm ready. I'm ready for do better, man. I'm ready for do
Yeah.
better, man. What's yours?
Yeah, man.
Is it the one you brought up? Oh, you got a couple?
No. I got 2 today, man. 2.
Okay.
Right. My first one, man, is military facilities, man. The restrooms. We're not on a ship. We don't need, 1-ply toilet paper, man. Can we do double-ply toilet papers, man? You know what I'm saying? In military facilities, man. Come on, man. We can do better than this, man. This 1-ply shit is some bullshit, man. Right?
Yeah.
So
you can see through it, huh?
Yeah,
you can see
man.
through it. You can see your hands.
Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous, man. Now I know on the ships and shit, you got, your systems on there that can't take. But freaking shore duty? Come on, man. My second one, man, is for all sailors, all up and down the chain of command. If you talking to me and you want me to help you in any kind of way, go talk to somebody on your behalf, whatever the case may be, give me the entire story, please. I do not want to go talk about something and end up it's freaking 20 more things I should have known before I went in that room and talked to them. Please do better. Please do better on giving me the entire story first, man. If you want me to go talk to them. So sailors, do better, baby.
What Damn, you got, for man? Real? What happened? Well, I guess you can't really tell me what. I guess you can't really tell me, what happened or whatever.
Yeah. Not on this story anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe later.
So your 16, your work after 1600 one that you talked about last week that we ain't really get into.
Yeah.
I do want to let everybody know that I'm not a fan of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a fan of that either. Working after 1600. I remember being on man, dude, I don't know if I told this story on here or not, but I was on an LCS. And actually, one of the people you work with, actually. But I was TAD. I went TAD to this LCS, and it was the holiday. It was the holidays. So I tell my so they yo, you going, and so I work for a squadron, but I was on sea duty, right? So I worked in the building, but I was on sea duty. So a normal day for us was leaving right after quarters, right? Honestly, it was highway robbery. I'm sorry to the listeners. LCS sea duty was highway robbery on a normal day. However, we work at something called UPL pool, right? Unplanned loss, right? And unplanned loss was different. When you get selected to go to a ship, TAD, your ass is working. You pretty much, they give you the whole spill. You pretty much a shipmate. We're going to treat you just like you part of the family. You get your hat and shipmate you are. You in the duty section, 3-section duty. You doing everything. You yo, I could do everything with PMS. Eventually, you find your way somewhere, doing everything with this crew, right? Which is cool because you really bond with these people. All right, but back to not being on TAD for a little bit. So back to not being on TAD. Not being TAD, you in the building, and all you really got to do is your required trainings, right? So all your required trainings. So they hit you up and then are appointments or whatever it's they need you to do. You might get a call. So it got out of hand at some point because we were first classes, but it was seamen in third classes that reported that were UPLs. And they was doing the same thing as us, right? They would come to work and leave at quarters, right? So eventually something happened. One of them got kind of caught up and they well, we want, no, they got frustrated because they junior sellers and they hungry for knowledge and work. So they we don't understand what's going on at this command. We want to do work. So I remember they called me hey, EM1, we gonna have to start doing this at this time and this at this time and this at this time. I'm wow, what happened? They well, we listened to you, EM1, we want to work and blah, blah, blah. I'm damn, I set myself up for, failure, whatever, however this happens. But they would call us hey, we don't need you to come in today, but tomorrow, if you could come in and you could knock out this NKO or whatever. I'm like, oh, perfect. I'll come in tomorrow. And I would go in, bro, at like 6 o'clock or whatever, knock out the NKO. So I would still leave work after quarters, right? Right? So that was the whole thing. Again, though, I didn't spend, just for everybody, on sanity, I spent way more time on ships than I spent in the buildings. But all right, so let's get to the story. So it got to this one command they requested, they needed engineers. So they needed a couple of us. So me and another EM at the time went over. It wound up being like 3 of us over there at TAD. But like when we went over there, it was during a holiday stand down, bro. So since LCSC duty, like where I worked at was so easy, I didn't take holiday leave. Like I'm like, yo, like, why would I take holiday leave? I leave work at quarters. And then we have like these 3 days off, like here and there or whatever. So I'm like, I'm not gonna take holiday leave. So when they hit me up to go TAD to the ship, it was like 2 days before like stand down would have started in the ship. People was like already on stand down or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool, I'm gonna just go over there. They like, yo, do you want to get leave before? I'm like, nah, man, I'm going to a ship that's like on stand down. Like, what is it to be concerned about? Bro, I get to the ship. These dudes is working, bro. These dudes was busting their ass, man. It was crazy. Like a dude had a broke leg. Like it was bad on the ship, man. Like they were working their ass off. Like, and like I said, you can ask old boy, he was on there too. They were working. And I was dumbfounded from day one. From the first day I got there, it was a shocker. I'm like, I get there, I'm like, yo, they on stand down. This shit about to be easy. I think the first day was like 1,400. And that was too long to me. But then it just got worse. It got worse. So the day before stand down was over, we had got and some of these dudes I worked with, I have so much love and respect for them. But when I first got there, it was very, very, very shaky because I was just going through it because I didn't understand the culture, right? Mm-hmm. So, and this wasn't my first ship that I was TAD on. And this was a 1 variant LCS. And if you ever been on a 1 variant LCS, you understand what I mean, right? So we get that. So the day before, this is the day before stand down is over, bro. The day before everybody come back, they got a part in at 1,400, bro. The part came in at 1,400. And we had to, and it was like one of them parts that, it's going to take us a while to install it. At least 2 hours, right? And, and we had to install it that day. Like, I'm like, and of course, I'm not from the command. So I'm TAD. I don't know shit about this part, bro. It just came in. I don't know if it was a plan. Like, if it was like, as soon as the part come in, we're going to install it. None of that. I know nothing. I just know that at 1,400, somebody covered up to me like, it's a part in, and Chang said, we got to install it today, right? So my attitude on these LCS ships is to just work. That's my attitude, right?
Yeah.
Just bust my ass, work, and I'm going to leave. That was always my attitude on LCSs. So I just worked. I did it. I got it done. We got out of there about 18:30, bro. You know what I mean? It was late. So the next morning, I think I told some of this story. So the next morning, we had quarters. Everybody back. It's departmental quarters, right? And they ask a question. They go through quarters. Now, mind you, I'm TAD to this damn ship. And they like, does anybody have anything else to ask? Anybody, how they, any questions, any by the ways, whatever they got at the end of quarters, all the khaki then put out everything. Here I go, bro. EM1, like raising my hand, bro. And I'm like, like yesterday, like the way we had to put that part in, like pretty much at the end of the day that we didn't know about and we didn't talk about at quarters. I'm like, is that how we handle business here?
Let's go, EM1.
So the top snipe at the time who I learned a valuable lesson from on a duty day, because he had to get in my ass, right? He really did have to get in my ass. He was like, I'm gonna talk to you about that offline. Actually, that day might have been our duty day, but he's like, I'm gonna talk to you about that. So after after that, he like pulled me to the side. It was, he was like, yo, when the last time you been on sea duty? Like this how sea duty? It was like a whole lot of conversations. I forgot how it went, but it was pretty much like, yo, this how it goes. Like, where the hell have you been? You know what I'm saying? The work conditions got gradually worse. The TLIs didn't work. None of the pumps, none of the pumps worked to transfer oil. So we were doing all that stuff like manually, like literally like caveman style, like passing big ass barrels. I think I talked about this before, but we like passing big ass. I'm telling you, ask my man, yo, we was passing barrels person to person, like filling like we had 50-pound drums. We would fill like a 5-pound bucket up, right, from a 50-pound drum. Fill up a 5-pound bucket, pass it man to man up a ladder to a pump in the back of the ship. It was a hydraulic, whatever pump. If you on an LCS, you know what I'm talking about. It was like an HPU or whatever. I forgot what it was. And we would have to fill that bitch up. That's just like 50, like way more than 50 gallons. So it's like a lot of 50-pound drums and a lot of, like, so a whole day evolution would just be filling up the, these HPPUs or whatever they was. Hydraulic power. I forgot what these things was. I'm trying to remember. But, so the conditions got, just gradually worse. Again, though, this was one of my most rewarding, like, places that I've been to. The top snipe, yo, he had to like pull like a Bible verse out on my ass one day. Like he really, like he had to tame my ass because I was on duty. This is my first time dealing with having radios at all times. Like I'm on duty one night. It's like 2000, bro. I'm like trying to hit the rack. It might have been 1830. I might be embellishing. Whatever time it was, though, I'm trying to hit the rack. This top snipe hits me up, bro. And he's like, where you at? Where you at? I've been calling you like, where was you at? I'm like, yo, my radio was off, it's bad. But now I'm seeming like this irresponsible first. And that wasn't me at all. So he kind of checked me, a good tour. I really, really loved it. And it taught me a whole lot. But that was me speaking to your, that was my long ass way around to speak to your, like, getting assigned tasks after 1600. I wanted to talk about it last week, but we would talk about the code, so I ain't want to get into it. But so this week for my Do Better segment, I'm going to just get into it real quick. Retired Navy chief charged over fraudulent scheme targeting sailors, vets. And it's not specific to him, but it's specific to the people that retire and take advantage of. People that retire and just find a business that's like going to take advantage of sailors, right? Right. So, but this one says, the SEC pretty much has charged a retired Navy chief with fraud over allegations that he took nearly $355,000 in investment funds from dozens of sailors, reservists, and veterans who were part of a chief Facebook group and spent nearly half the money on gambling and personal expenses. The agency announced Thursday. That's why I don't be in that many Facebook groups. Like, it's like 45 chief Facebook groups, man. Like, how many of them things you gonna be in? You know what I'm saying? Like, but this dude, I ain't gonna say his name, none of that or whatever. But it says he was collected and misspending funds as part of an alleged crime that lasted until January, according to a criminal complaint. He did 20 years. He retired. He knew and took advantage of the trust in Navy chiefs that is developing through service and special Navy training. $355,000, and he was misappropriating about 148. So it says that he used the veneer of trustworthiness created by his U.S. Navy service to raise nearly $355,000 from approximately 44 investors, most of whom were affiliated with the Navy. But instead of shepherding the sailors' cash, Murray is accused of misappropriating about $148,000 from the fund, spending it on gambling and personal expenses. It says he blew $8,700 in shipmate money via debit card and check expenditures, $83,500 in cash withdrawals. Damn. And $638.99 at Helzberg Diamonds. They some cheap. All that money you getting them cheap diamonds, man. According to the complaint, it says in February 2021, he transferred $10,000 from the fund to his personal bank account, which had less than $800 in it before the transfer. So he was just trying not to overdraft, That's what it looked like, right? 9 minutes after making a transfer, he purchased $10,400 in casino chips from a Cleveland casino using the same personal bank account. So he was just having a great time. It says the complaint also indicates the retired chief and his fund weren't the soundest options for shipmates looking to invest. Murray lost a significant amount of the brokerage account's value in January 2021 by investing in GameStop options contracts, according to complaint. So it's a whole lot in here.
Got him.
Yeah, he thought he was going to do it because, GameStop had they had the little crazy, stock market stuff. People made a whole lot of money. It said the final failed trade was a bet on deeply risky option contracts that had a potential to lose all value within 24 hours, which they ultimately did. His account was left with $161.98, which Murray later withdrew on February 4th.
He needed that, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a Facebook group called the GOATs Facebook group. There's a Facebook group called the GOATs Facebook group. That's crazy. He made that much money. Man, I always think, man, these people that like scheme you, man, they know how to make money, bro.
Yeah.
Like they know.
You know what? I read a little bit of that too, man. You know what I really want to see though, man? I really want to see what was his pitch. What did he pitch for me to give him my $5,000, man? I want to read that. Off the GOAT Facebook page, man. What did he say, man? I know we got this thing where we trust each other and things like that, man, but I most definitely would love to read it though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because that dude need a job in marketing. They need to catch me if they can. Do whatever you're doing, get your time away, and then find you a job. It's a lot of people doing a lot of stuff. A lot of people got a lot of businesses going on that's like really dying for people to support them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And here this guy go scamming, getting $355,000 out of people who need their money.
Yeah.
These people need their money, bro. It's crazy out here.
100.
How about this fighter jet, bro? How about this fighter jet? Right. And it's not a do better segment, but one of my boys, he always hit me up, man. He's a retired as well. But he always hit me up with like stories. And, he was like, what the hell y'all doing over there? His stories always, come off kind of funny. He's like, what the hell y'all doing over there? But it says fighter jet blown off carrier deck in unexpected heavy weather. So it says a FA-18 Super Hornet fighter jet fell into the waters of the Mediterranean from the deck of the Truman on Friday, the Navy announced in a statement released Sunday. It was blown overboard due to unexpected heavy weather as the ship was conducting an air-sea resupply. Navy planes have been known to crash into the water during takeoff or landing. Losing a plane to rough seas is unusual, man. So, we gotta do better, man.
Man. We most definitely gotta do better, man. Like these $1 million aircrafts, man. We gotta take them down under, man. Get them on the elevator, man. Take them down there, man. I know you guys don't want to do no maintenance down there in the facilities, or whatever, man. We gotta get them off deck, man. Gotta get them off deck.
Man. That shit sloppy. It's people. It's other navies watching us, man. Like we can't be losing jets to heavy. Well, luckily, nobody was on board. But we can't be losing jets to heavy weather, bro. Like that's.
Hey, do it saying that? Hey, do it saying that article they recovered? I hope they recovered the motherfucker.
Let me see. The Navy said the details and the cause of the incident are under investigation. One of the last known incidents of a plane being blown, it was in 1995, not due to rough seas. Jet engine exhaust blew a plane off. The spokesperson in the Navy is weighing whether to salvage the plane from the bottom of the Med. Damn. Though
somebody go salvage that motherfucker.
Yeah, somebody will get it out.
Somebody go get it.
Yeah, so as of when that story was reported, it wasn't. That was 11 July. It wasn't recovered.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It wasn't
a lot of technology on that motherfucker, boy.
Yeah, it says this is the last statement in the article. The Navy stressed that the Truman and embarked aircraft remain fully mission capable despite the loss of an aircraft. That's the last, statement. You know what I'm saying? Yo, don't worry. Don't worry, we still mission capable, man. That's like when a reporter about to leave and you just want to make sure that, just make sure y'all put this at the end, that we still mission capable. You know what I'm saying? Like, we lost the jet to heavy weather. You know what I'm saying? But we got this.
We got plenty of these motherfuckers down below.
That's wild, man. All right. You got to tell me something about a first black something, man. I know you got to tell me something about a first black somebody.
Oh yeah, man. I know we always, we don't get a whole lot of firsts anymore like we used to, man. But I do want to give a shout out, man, to the first set to be the first 4-star general. Lieutenant General Michael Langley, man. Like
the first black 4-star general.
The first black 4-star general. He's set to be the 4-star general, man. So big shouts out to Mr. Michael Langley, man. That's a great accomplishment. And I'm sure with that title, you're gonna be looked up to in the Marine Corps for a lot of different ways, man, for your job and what you have done, but also, being the first black 4-star general, man, that's a big freaking deal, man. Big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Congrats. That's inspiration to make it, it that man. Far. It says more than 70. Just reading this account, it says more than 70 white men have risen to the Marines' highest ranks in that same time. So marking a major step for diversity in Marine Corps, 246-year history. So he gonna be confirmed by the Senate. Damn. So yeah, that's a first time in 246 years.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
246 years. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But it feels good. It feels good for it to happen. Sometimes I go on my rants about being the first, whatever. But it feels good for it to happen. So that's what's up. Who's our hero this week, man?
Yeah, man. So I switched it up a little bit on the heroes, man.
For real? Like we got it. So for our hero and our do better, we got to get like at some point like a drum roll or like
yeah, man,
something like some kind of intro like do better, like I don't know. It's like that was real bad, but like there we go. Yeah. That was a good one. The dog was a great one.
I know,
but, like,
right?
We gotta get something for hero and do better, and we need a name for our listeners, man. So if y'all could think of a name for the listeners and some themes, man, let us know.
Yeah, man, for sure. For our hero of the week, man, I'm doing Thomas Jerome Hudner Jr.
Okay.
Right. So, of course, you guys know about the ship that's named after him. DDG 116 is named after him. And I'm going to get right into the citation. For conspicuous gallantry of intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty as a pilot in the Fighter Squadron 32, while attempting to rescue a squadron mate whose plane, struck by an anti-aircraft fire and trailing smoke, was forced down behind enemy lines. Quickly maneuvering to encircle the downed pilot and protect him from enemy troops infested in the area, Lieutenant J.G. Hudner risked his life to save the injured flyer who was trapped alive in the burning wreckage. Fully aware of the extreme danger in landing on the rough, mountainous terrain and the scant hope of escape or survival in sub-zero temperature, he put his plane down skillfully in a deliberate wheels-up landing in the presence of enemy troops. With his bare hands, he packed the fuselage with snow to keep the flames away from the pilot and struggled to pull him free. Unsuccessfully in this, he returned to his crashed aircraft and radioed other airborne planes, requesting that a helicopter be dispatched when an axe and a fire extinguisher. He then remained on the spot despite the continuing danger from enemy action, and with the assistance of the rescue pilot, renewed a desperate but unavailing battle against time, coal, and flames. Lieutenant J.G. Hudner, exceptionally valiant action and selfless devotion to a shipmate sustained and enhanced the highest tradition of the U.S. Naval Service. Yeah, man. like we always say, man, these stories be some heroic stories, man. But I'm just thinking, I'm gonna think we know about what Lieutenant JG done, but the fact that we're talking about landing a plane, if you land, that's not an aircraft. I mean, not a helicopter, right? So we know if you land this airplane, you're probably not going to get it back up. You know what I mean? So you most definitely was not thinking about yourself, no type of way. If you land that aircraft in the mountains, which probably you're gonna need some type of air landing strip to get it out of there. So that's probably not about to happen. So that alone, man, is like crazy to me, man. But then going under help and try your best to save someone that went down is very heroic, man.
Yeah, and like fighting against like the weather, because while he's packing his fuselage with snow, he's like fighting against getting frostbite and all that. And it says he's doing this stuff with his bare hands. Like everything from everything he did, man, from the way he landed, you know, um, from just being aware of the danger, and then the wheels up landing, and then bare hands
Yeah.
packing a fuselage with the snow to keep the flames away from the pilot, while still trying to pull him free. That didn't work. Trying to radio, just that, like, never give up, like that fight kind of mentality. You know what I mean? And I mean, like I said, man, when you get in those positions, um, that's sometimes what it is. Like, you got to will your way through it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, and a lot of times you accept whatever fate gives to. It's like when I watch the old Viking movies and they like be like, "Yo, take me to Valhalla" or whatever. Like, it's like you kind
Yeah.
of like embracing whatever is going to happen in the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But let's just
Yeah.
get one step closer to victory or whatever. That's always
Yeah.
inspirational to me when I read anything like that, man.
Yeah.
But back to our back to what we pretty much been doing our day. The veteran of the week. The veteran of the week, man. I don't know if he the veteran of the week, the veteran of the quarter, the veteran of the day, because this ain't a PTSF segment, man. It's just, did you hear about this Afghanistan vet? His name is Whitfield Smith from Clayton County, Atlanta, who shot the home invaders, who shot at the home invaders. Did you hear about this
What
dude?
happened? What happened?
So he in the crib, right, man? You have to watch this. I got the YouTube, man, but there's no way that we could watch it for the listeners. But
yeah,
so he pretty much at home. He got a Ring camera, right? So home with the wife, Ring camera, BMW in the driveway, right? So these home invaders, I don't even know if they home invaders, but it's dudes that's look like they breaking into something, right? So they bust his car. I think they trying to break into his car. So they get into his car. He sees them through the Ring camera. He comes out, robe on, half dressed, shooting with like assault rifle type, So he comes out just shooting at these kids, right? He runs in the crib. 2 seconds later, come out fully dressed because they were shooting back. They had guns.
Yeah.
So he comes out fully dressed, shooting again, right? Now, the story, right? The story is that he stopped them from a home invasion, right? That was the story, right? And again, like, yo, big shout out to him because he is the veteran, because he pretty much said, yo, if I survived Afghanistan, you think I'm about to die at my home? like, that was what he said. But I was talking to my mom about this, right? And I was like, Mom, I don't think that those boys was going to break into his house, because his whole story was he was, alert and afraid for his wife. He ain't want nothing to happen, so he was in protect mode. He grabbed the rifle and he protected his family. So I pretty much told my mom, I do not think them boys was going to break into his house. I told my mom that I think Whitfield, I think is his name.
Yeah.
I think he just wanted some action. You know what I'm saying? It's been a while since he was out there in the field. They was going to break into his car for sure. He had a gun in the car because they were shooting at him with the gun that was in his car, right? So they was going to break into his car. They broke into the car. But I think he was looking for an excuse to go out there with the rifle and start clipping some people, man. And he was clipping, bro. He was ducking. Like, he was moving, bro.
Bro, I guarantee you, he was probably sitting on the couch with the wife. Some popped off, and he was like, "Finally, finally, let's go, baby. Go to the room." You know what I'm saying? Go to the room.
I'm telling you, my man got a gun in every room. Probably, he probably got a gun in every room. He scooped some up. He ran off, and he ran up on them boys. Man, he was looking. He was waiting for an excuse. But shout out to him, man. You know, he held it down, man. He did what he was supposed to do. Punishments for the Bonhomme Richard.
Yeah.
Vice Admiral and 24 others punished for USS Bonhomme Richard. So before I get into it, what's your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts is that the one of the admirals, man, I don't think he going down laying down, man. Like he more like, hey, this ain't on me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my initial thought about it, man. He ain't going down. You know what I mean? Like, this ain't on me, bro. You know what I mean? Like, he said, shit, this ain't on me, bro. That's kind of how I read it, though, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, it's funny because what's up?
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's funny because it's like, chiefs. I was talking to like one of the LTs at my command. It's like when you go and you talk to like your chain of command, you kind of own the problem. Like you kind of, when you go report something to the captain, like even if it was like your team. Now, matter of fact, I was talking to my aunt about this, but even if it's like you know you didn't do it, but your people did it, it was deliberate. When you go to your captain, you're like, yo, sir, we really messed up. We really jacked this up. This is on me. I'm gonna do something to fix it. But not this admiral, right? This admiral did not. This admiral don't want no parts of this shit, man.
Hell no, this ain't even my swim lane, man. He was like, this ain't even me. I was just stepping in because they didn't want to step in.
He said it's other admirals. He was it's other admirals.
He was like, this ain't even my shit.
What did he say, man?
Crazy, he said, I'm trying to find this spot what he said.
So look, all right, let's get into it. We can break this one down. Hey, let's break it down. We're going to break this one down. Sorry. The Navy announced Friday has disciplined more than 24 service members for their roles in a July 2020 fire that destroyed the amphibious assault ship Bonhomme Richard in San Diego. Chief amongst the actions is a letter of censure, I hope I said that right, issued by Navy Secretary Carlos Del Toro against now retired Vice Admiral Brown, who was serving as the commander of Naval Surface Forces when the blaze was caught away. All right. Brown disputed any culpability for the bungled multi-day effort to extinguish the inferno. In an interview with Defense News earlier this summer, he had already been informed of the letter that was coming. Among other points of contention, Brown told the news he was never interviewed for the investigation, and he was told late last year that he has not been found culpable for the fire order response. Brown also said his efforts to oversee the firefight after other admirals in the ship's operational chain of command shirked their duty were ignored in the investigation. And he took issue with the officer who was appointed to lead the investigation, who Brown said had a conflict of interest. This was a political hit. That's what Brown told the news. For whatever reason, to appease the Senate, to appease Congress, we're going to hang a 3-star, right? And I've learned a lot about the politics that got to do with, you know, the military and Congress from reading the last book I read, that book Front Burner or whatever. So I do understand that there are some. But it says the letter will not impact Brown's retirement grade determination. And he's already retired. It says Brown handed over the reins of naval forces and retired less than a month after the fire. A change that had been planned before the amphib burn. But I want to get into that though, man. Like when something like that happened under your watch, but you know you got a month left.
Yeah.
Like you know you got to, and I know it's a touchy.
Can you come on?
Subject.
Can you hurry up and get him up in here, man?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and relieve me a little early.
Where you do transfer.
But I want to touch on something though, man. Like Well, you know, I think you're gonna get to it when if you keep reading it, but it says something in there about the conflict of interest, right?
Yeah, I ain't
And
get
it
there
sounds
yet.
like he said that this guy, and I want to be sure though, this guy was like, was in charge of it. Like it was his area, but he became the investigating officer. You know what I mean? I want to say it said something like that, man.
I think that's a problem. I think that we do that. We've done that. I've seen that before. I think that's a problem in like the Navy. I've seen that before. I'm not going to call it a problem. I don't know if it's a trend, but I don't think that ever needs to happen. I've seen that like when a division went under investigation. For instance, I seen when like my division, when I was on shore duty, went under investigation for like tag out violation. And I think maybe it was the whole command. I don't know. They was investigating the tag out program. And then they put the chief, right? You know, nothing about the chief, but they put the chief that was in charge of the program um, in charge of investigating it. Like, nah. Like, bring a chief that got nothing to do with this, you know, over. Bring another EMC. I get it, he a EMC, he the technical kind of expert, but bring another EMC and let the other EMC kind of, you know, do this. Like, this not the move. Because it still could be some favoritism involved in there or whatever. But it says Admiral Samuel Paparo, the head of Pac Fleet, meted out punitive letters of reprimand and pay forfeitures to Captain Gregory Thorman and Captain Michael Ray, who served as Bonnie Dix commanding officer and executive officer, respectively, at the time of the fire. So XO, CO, the former CMC also received a punitive letter of reprimand. Such letters are generally considered career killers. Rear Admiral Scott Brown, Pac Fleet's Director of Maintenance, Rear Admiral Eric Verhodge, the commanding officer of the Navy Regional Maintenance Center. All told, Paparo made disciplinary decisions on 27 individuals found to have played a role in the failure to prevent and fight the fire. No other individuals disciplined by Paparo were identified in the Navy's announcement. Assuming a lot of them might have been more junior. The disposition decisions included 6 NJPs with guilty findings, 2 NJPs with matter of interest filings, letter of instruction. Yeah, this sounds like younger sellers. Two letters for former sellers documenting substandard performance. Yeah, that sounds like more junior sellers. I'm trying to go ahead. The disciplinary actions announced Friday are separate from criminal charges the Navy has brought against Seaman Apprentice Ryan Mays, who is accused of starting a fire. His trial is expected to begin September. So that's that. With that, I'm trying to find the one thing that you was talking about with the conflict of interest. The type commander, no, not worried about that. Where risk of fires, the letter blames Brown for failing to oversee the ship's fire safety during its extensive maintenance availability, where risk of fire is great. Brown also failed to set a culture permitting commanding officers faced with significant pressure to meet time and schedule milestones while in availability to raise concerns or properly weigh safety, including fire safety against maintenance milestones. Oh, man. I'm going to read this again because this is important. And I'm not going to talk about this. I would love to talk to a commanding officer about this paragraph, but I don't think that it's in my pay grade. But I'm going to read this again. It says Brown also failed to set a culture permitting commanding officers faced with significant pressure to meet time and schedule milestones while in availability to raise concerns or properly weigh safety, including fire safety against maintenance milestones, the letter said. Right. You understand why I read that twice? I don't want to get into it, but you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you know, you know. I ain't gonna get into it, but if you know, you know. Brown denied creating such a climate while in command and said he had an open communication policy with his ships, with his ship COs for any issue. Open communication is one thing. You know what I'm saying? Open communication is half the battle. But the other half is what happens after whatever is supposed to be communicated is communicated. You know what I'm saying? I don't see the conflict of interest. Did you find it?
Yeah.
I don't see the conflict of interest. I don't see it, man. Rear Admiral Charlie Brown speaking to Navy Toms. Yeah, I don't see the conflict of interest. Brown denied. I know I don't see it. Somebody's detected at your door, man. If you find it, let me know. I know we can't just both be quiet looking for it though while we got people listening to the pod.
Yeah.
But if you find it, let me know. I don't see it.
Yeah.
What's next, man? What you got, man? I think you got something for me.
I do got, before I get to my original question, I was thinking about something earlier, man, when we was talking. Like, what is one of the things that you have learned, man, in the Navy that you always use, man, like a saying or something that someone has told you before that you have stood up, like you had your sailors doing something and you brung it up and say, you know what? If this, you should be doing that. Something that's a chief or an officer or something told you in your career that made you say it. And I'm saying this because I was thinking about this on the ship. And I brought it up and it came up to me so clearly, man. Like this, I was on the ship and this guy was telling me how, they had these issues with they evacs and how he was trying to, like, this second class man, how he was going through all this stuff. He was trying to fix them. He was trying to do this. And I remember telling him, man, I said, hey man, if we can put a man on the moon, you can get these evacs fixed, right? And I was thinking about that, man, like that saying, man, comes to me so clear. And it didn't really even happen to me, it happened to you.
Yeah.
But just that saying, man, is so clear to me. Every time a sailor talking to me about what they can't do, man, that we can't, it's hard, blah, blah, blah. And I said, man, if we could put a man on the moon, we could make it. But I said this now like several times. Yes, dude, several times I've said that now over time now, man. It's crazy, bro.
Actually,
crazy.
I got one, man. It's good enough for government work. So good enough for government.
Yeah.
So good enough for government work, right? And it's government, right? My boy from Boston, actually. So it wasn't government, it was government, right? So good enough for government work, right? My EM2 brag when I was a junior sailor. We were doing something. And whatever we did, it was gonna work, but it wasn't about to be pretty. You know what I mean? So I remember like stepping back and looking at it, and I might have been like, "Hey, EM2, like, what you think? Like, I don't know, like, what you think? Like, I could do a little bit." He's like, "Look, it's good enough for government work. Close it up. Let's get up out of here." You know what I'm saying? And I always, even sometimes, when we do certain jobs, like, it's not going to ever be pretty again. Some things that you fix, repair. Especially I know in your field, everything ain't going to, you get an MRHT to bust something up, fix something. It ain't going to be as pretty as it was, when you first got it, but it's good enough for government work. You know what I mean? So that was that's the thing that I took. Now it's a lot of other, like, some crazy advice that I took, man, but a lot of the advice I took didn't come from people that was senior to me. Advice I took came from people that were junior. It's crazy. So advice I took came from people that were junior to me, more than people that were senior than me. However, lessons that I learned came from people that were senior to me. Like long-term lessons came from dealing with people that were senior to me for long periods of time. So I can't sum up like a lot of lessons that I learned from people that were senior than me. I can't like sum them up because they were like complete like modifications, adjustments and things like that. However, if you ask me about like advice, tidbits, one-liners, stuff like that, a lot of that stuff that still changed me, it came from people that were junior than me or whatever.
Yeah.
And it still does to this day. I still like do the same. Like I kind of like, and I guess I would call it like impact learning. Like I kind of get more like impact learning from people that's junior than me, but I kind of get more like continuous learning from people that's senior than me or whatever, if that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah.
Like I gotta sit with them. Like if you senior than me, I gotta sit with you. I gotta report to you. I gotta talk to you to like pick up, a lot of lessons. But if you're junior, we could just sit together. I get a lot of Jews from you or whatever like that, which is crazy.
Definitely. So I got one more question for you, man. You've been stationed in Norfolk before, right?
Yeah.
So what is this? Then first, it's for everybody too. I'm talking to Damo about it, man. But it's for everybody. I want people inputs and just hit us up and let me know something. But it's this thing about when a detailer tell you that you going to Norfolk or you get some orders and you say, man, you going to Norfolk. And it's always seemed to be like a stigma or something, man. I don't want to go to Norfolk, man. I ain't going to Norfolk. I got the Navy before I go to Norfolk, man. So is it a thing about, getting orders to Norfolk? I mean, what's bad about Norfolk? What's going on? I don't understand. I've never been stationed there before, though.
I think some of the people that make the memes never been stationed there. Because that's the world we live in nowadays, where people make memes about things that they know nothing about. However, I think some of the people have, that's why I'm saying some. The key word is some. So some never have, some have, right? But I'll say this. I was stationed in Norfolk as a young sailor. I didn't like it at all. I wasn't a big fan of Norfolk. As a young single guy, I wasn't a big fan of Norfolk. It's things to do in Norfolk. I think for us, what we don't know is Norfolk is pretty small. So a lot of the people in Norfolk, they know each other. Like, so you might go somewhere and you might feel alienated. I know that because even though it's big, it's small. I know that because I hung around somebody that knew a lot of people, in Norfolk. And I was like, damn, like everybody here knows each other. So that's kind of like the lifestyle there. It is a lifestyle there. You just kind of got to get used to it. I didn't really hang out in Norfolk when I was stationed there. I hung out in Hampton with a lot of my friends who went to. You got to figure, I just came out of high school, so one of my friends actually went to like Hampton University. So soon as I got to Norfolk, I was hanging with him, one of my friends from high school. So that was like kind of like the easy kind of thing. So I was hanging out in the Hampton area with him. They had an apartment. I used to go spend nights over there when I lived on a ship. He used to drive my car. And I met some lifelong friends through that relationship or whatever like that. But I think when it comes to Norfolk, man, for young people at that age, it's not a lot to do. You know what I'm saying? It's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not a lot to do. The traffic is crazy. Getting on base. I think if I remember, it was crazy in San Diego, man. Getting on base for a longer period of time. Like San Diego is just crazy. Like soon as you get off, the intersection, whatever it is, as soon as you get off there, it get crazy. But Norfolk, it was crazy for like a long period of time. The base is big as hell and weird as hell. It ain't like you could just go, like you gotta walk mad, like you gotta walk and I just was there and felt like this. It was a weird base. But I was a young sailor, man, and I would have never ever thought about ever going back to Norfolk again. Now, as an older married guy, man, I want to go to Norfolk. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to go to Norfolk. I'm trying to get those orders with the wife. It's not that expensive to live there. It's pretty cool, man. But Norfolk is like this weird city that, you also got like a street. You also got like a street culture, some gang culture there, and then you also got like this weird country kind of vibe. So it's just this whole weird city that if you're a young person and you thinking about like a place like San Diego where you got gas lamp and all this fun stuff that you could do, the DC area, it's different from Norfolk because you got to go find the fun in Norfolk. Even in like Annapolis, you got Baltimore not too far. Annapolis is very nice, picturesque. Norfolk is just not nice. You know what I mean? You got Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach ain't what it used to be, but Virginia Beach is there. Again, though, it's not glamorous. Virginia Beach is probably not as glamorous as like the smallest beach in San Diego or whatever, right? Or the least important beach in San Diego. So I think did I answer it? I don't know.
Yeah, most definitely. If anybody else got any stories out there about getting those orders in Norfolk and anything like that, man, hit us up, man. I'd like to hear some stories about that, man. Like about why people don't want to go. Like, what's up with Norfolk?
Yeah, because people want to go to Jacksonville. Like, and Jacksonville is big as hell, and it's spread out kind of the same way. I can't lie though, Jack's Beach, man. Jack's Beach is amazing. My friends who was with me in Jack's Beach, man, they know me. They know the real me.
I tell you, man, like most of my naval career though, man, before I got back to San Diego, man, I was trying to get Jacksonville, man. I was like, man. I always want to go to Jacksonville, man. Go to Jacksonville. And not because of whatever going on down there. It was closer to my home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would have been closer to, from Mississippi, so it'd been closer, but man, I could never get orders down there, man. And people who get freaking orders down there stay down there,
Yeah,
man.
bro. It's fun.
Killing me, bro.
It's fun because even like the beach, for instance, it's not that big. So it's a couple little staples at the beach. But
yeah,
it's just, I can't even talk about it. It's unexplainable. It's unfathomable. I can't talk about it on this podcast or whatever. But it's a great time. Jack's Beach was a great time. Super fun.
Yeah.
It's super, like, I can't even lie, man. Like, so, in Mayport, you're not too far from there. It's a different lifestyle. Like I said, though, it's still spread out, but somehow it's still like, I would pick that over Norfolk. I think because the houses are cheaper, but they still better. Like, so like Norfolk, the houses ain't that expensive, but it's not really it's not that many places you could live that's nice. Like downtown Norfolk is like one of the worst downtowns. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like a real like what's the, and I think that's the thing. Like, what is it to do?
Yeah.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What does what happens in a mess stays in a mess mean to you?
I think it's really out there, man, and it's crazy. What people really think that means. But to me, what it means is that when we're in the mess talking about something, especially we always in there trying to get better. And we always talking about sailors, and sometimes those stories need to stay there. Those stories and the things, because something can happen to it. Like, for example, I'm gonna give you an example. I might have a sailor that had this issue, right? And then you come in and say, hey man, I need some help.
Mm-hmm.
I got this sailor that got this type of problem. And then I've been through an issue like that, so I help him out. I talk to him about it. This is what I did. You can do this. This is what happened. This is the what I could have did better. You know what I mean? All this stuff, but it's about that sailor, so I shouldn't be going out of the mess talking about, what we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's kind of what I think it is supposed to mean, but everybody won't think that. I think a lot of people think that we go in the mess and we hide a lot of stuff under the rug. You know what I mean? We throw a little stuff in there, hide it. No one knows about it. Chiefs don't get in trouble because we take care of our own and all this type of stuff. But that's what I think people may think it mean. But to me, I think it means just going out as a unified front when we go out and talk about things and stand together and try to keep it in there as much as possible.
And I think that's because what happens in a mess stays in a mess is like the same exact quote as like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, right? That's not a good thing, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's like Jack's Beach a little bit, man. Like what happens in Jack's Beach.
When Jack's Beach stays in Jack's Beach.
Yeah. But as far as the whole what happens in a mess stayed in a mess thing, I think it's pretty much like you said. It's alignment. Alignment is not agreement. Or whatever. You're just coming together, figuring something out. And like you like I'm not going back to my like division. Like, man, when we was trying to make this up, Damon disagreed that the junior sellers, like for instance, like when we was planning like 360 or whatever, I'm not going back to the division like, yo, this chief think that seller 360 is bullshit. They don't want to do it. Boom, boom. That's like when we all leave, did we agree on doing this or did we not agree? Yeah. But it's not like Sin City where all this wild shit happening. They talking about trash about sellers. I don't know if it was ever like that. I mean, I don't. Yeah. So I'm not sure if it was ever like that. I'm sure it was a lot different before with some things, like maybe things that even got to do with like physical altercations and and things like that. But the mess ain't like no war zone where you about to walk into and you're gonna get two-pieced. If you said the wrong thing and you done the wrong thing, or if you said something wrong on a 1MC, you know what I'm saying? You got like a salty senior chief about to choke you up or something. Maybe it was like that before. My aunt was also telling me some, because she was enlisted, made officer, but she made chief. She was telling me some of her initiation stories, in which I can't, repeat, on a podcast, but it's some crazy stuff. So I'm sure some things happen different with, the difference in the cultures and stuff like that. But it's not, I don't feel like everything should be a secret. You know what I mean? Or everything is a secret. There's some funny things that happen in there that could be shared. But like a lot of them things, that come with personalities and people you disagree with, you shouldn't be going back to your division and like doing all that or whatever. But I do have a funny story about the mess though. I got a mess story. It's also my whole funniest time I stood my ground story, right? So we on deployment, right? It's one of those Sundays, right? One of those Sundays where the last 3 Sundays wasn't holiday routine type Sundays, right? For some reason, we was always replenished. And anybody that was on the ship at the time, they noticed. We was always doing a replenishment at sea on Sunday, right? You have been gone. You have been gone already, right? So we always doing a replenishment at sea on Sunday. So this one Sunday was the first Sunday that we wouldn't have a replenishment at sea, right? So it's brunch, right? So it's like 10:00, whatever time it is where they got the food out. We in a mess. CMC comes in a mess, right? Brand new XO, kind of new, right? Kind of new XO. I think we already been extended on deployment, something like that. But CMC comes in a mess and the space is dirty. So CMC like, he calling people out, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm sitting there chilling, eating, because I know my spaces ain't dirty. So I'm chilling, and I live in that. Like, I like that. Like, I'm like, sometimes I'm like an evil villain. I live in knowing that I can sit here and enjoy my food and CMC ain't about to call me out because of my spaces. You know what I mean? So I'm like, he going around the room, your space fucked up, your space, and then he like, I heard my name, dog. Like, I heard my name. It was like, yo, Damo, your space messed up too. And XO, it was one of those days. XO was on the move. Found some shit. You know what I mean? So he's like, yo, Damo, your space is messed up. Yo, like I said, this is a story about me standing my ground, probably when I need to, and I'm like, there's no way. I'm like, it's no way my space messed up. You know what I mean? And like, so I got a little upset. You know what I mean? I was upset. You know what I mean? And CMC's like, yo, like, what you so mad for? You know what I'm saying? What you so mad for? And you know how when somebody say you mad, but you're not mad, so then you get mad because they said you was mad. But I was a little tight, and I'm like, yo, I'm upset because I care about my spaces. I care. Like, my space is not messed up, right? Now, 3MC saw that I was upset too. And 3MC was like, whoa, watch how you talking. Right? 3MC kind of big too, you know what I'm saying? like and 3MC he was doing like he was in the gym, probably 2 a.m, like every day he'd be in the gym, right? And this is my dude, I got mad love for him. But he was getting at me too. So he was barking, he was pissed. He was probably already frustrated about a bunch of things. So he was pissed. I'm pissed. CMC's kind of like, at this point, like, I created some chaos. I'm chilling, like type shit. But he stirred up, and he told me the exact space that was dirty. He's like, yeah, your space, boom, boom, boom. And it ain't sound like my shit. You know what I mean? But now, 3MC pretty much like, what you getting so upset for? Just suck it the fuck up. Like, your space could be dirty. Boom, 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 right? Like, just accept it type shit, right? Like, why everybody trying to bark? This, you kind of, so the time comes where we gotta go clean up the spaces, right? So I go to my spaces. I settle out, right? I kind of settle out. I figure it out. I humble myself. I go to CMC, right? And I'm like, hey, CMC, can you show me? I'm like, because I'm not seeing it, right? Can you? Because we will make sure our division clean the space, no matter if we were told to or not, right? So I'm like, hey, CMC, can you show me, the space? So he takes me to the space, bro. And it's the P-Way that you used to own. It was your P-Way, bro. You wasn't there. You were gone. But it was the P-way going down from
down that ladder well.
Down the ladder well.
To the mess, to the
down the ladder well to the berthing. It was that P-way. Yeah. He thought I owned it. So he thought it was mine. So now, I was happy, but I was even more mad because it wasn't even my damn space. And I knew it wasn't my space. And that's the reason I was upset. You know what I'm saying? But if I could take it back, right? And that's what all love to all of them do. I always say that because, it's the mess. You have your little things or whatever like that. But if I could take it back, I probably would have shut the fuck up and just waited and then got with CMC and asked them to do the same thing that I asked them to do without me going on that, rant. Yeah. But I'm sure that showed CMC that I was, because I'm telling you, he was like, what you so mad at? I'm like, I'm mad because and I got like a trigger, like a switch temper where I'm never really upset. But if I do get upset, I'm super upset. So I'm like, but I'm mad because I care about, I'm like, I'm mad because I care about my spaces. I care. That's why I'm upset. So it was just a whole funny thing or whatever like that. But I definitely did, stand my ground, man. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely didn't have to. So that was a time I stood my ground and I didn't have to. You ever had a time like that?
Standing my ground, man. I did a lot of. I stood my ground. Oh man, yes, bro. I stood my ground on the DCPO program, bro.
Did you have to?
I don't know. Yes. Okay. So it's crazy, man. Like. It wasn't a ground that I had to stand because I think people understood where I was coming from and how I was doing. But we was putting this program together, and it was like, man, why we got to do this and this, and we giving all these sailors, to the division. But the way it was said to me, it was a hit on the table behind it. Like blah blah blah, like boom, why we doing it? And I remember responding by hitting the table back.
Yeah.
And saying, this is why, blah blah blah, right? I don't know what it was, man, but it's just that, like, I could have been wrong, but that hit to the table jumped, like fire jumped in me, bro. You know what I mean?
So you just had to hit the table.
Yeah, I had to, for no reason, I hit it back too, you know?
Yeah, if you hit the table,
why we hitting tables? Yeah.
Oh.
Like, why we hitting tables,
we hitting tables?
You know what I mean? Yeah. But, it all worked out and that's my guy and all, but, it's like a table hitting thing, man. Like, he hit it, I hit it, you know what I mean? But I say what I had to say there, CMC and everybody else, they kind of came to say, yeah, this is blah, blah, blah. So it wasn't a big deal, but yeah, man, I remember, man, hitting that table on me, man. But man, it was crazy. It was funny too.
Yeah,
we talked about it after that, man. You talk about it afterwards too. You like, yeah. He's like, I didn't mean to hit that table. How was talking. I was like, yeah, me too, bro.
But it's always love with bro, though. It's always love with bro, and that's how bro come, And you have to be able to and that's like the different kind of mess that I'm glad I was introduced to. Where it's you got to be able to stand your ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not saying that you right, not saying you wrong, not saying you gonna win, not saying you better than the person, but you got to be able to stand your ground. You know what I mean? Because bro and them had you like, oh man, all right, I need to stand up for myself because they'll test you. You know what I'm saying? And
I
like that form of it is what I thought the mess was as a whole, like a place that you get tested and stuff like that. Yeah. So I was happy because I was tested, too. So I was happy to be to be tested like that or whatever like that, and to have to stab my girl because you're gonna have to. I remember I ain't gonna get into this, but I remember I had another issue with, as a new chief, not even getting paid chief yet, but I had an issue with a master chief. It ain't really had nothing to do with me. It had to do with my sellers. But bro and them was in there, a bunch of senior chiefs, salty as hell, and they knew I had the issue. I don't know how they knew. I think I might have said something I might have been looking for, and they's like, yo, you gonna have to go talk to him. You gonna have to go holler at him one-on-one.
I know you talking about.
You gonna have to go talk to him one-on-one. And I'm thinking, I'm a brand new chief, ain't even made, I'm like, damn, I gotta go talk to, and it's crazy because a long time later, after when me and him had to talk, me and the Master Chief had to talk, he told me a long time later, he was like, yo, when you first got to the ship, because the talk happened when I first got to the ship. But a long time later, he was like, yo, when you first got to the ship, I didn't know you was a first year. I didn't know you wasn't getting paid. None of that stuff or whatever like that. So here I go, when I think back, here I go like, kind of like, man, I don't know if I should go up to this Master Chief, like, with this or whatever, like, and here I go, not even knowing he not even thinking about all the things I'm thinking about that's kind of weighing on me or whatever like that. He just thinking I'm this chief who, whatever. But he was cool too. He was another one, man. He was the dude who told me when I got to the mess, if I kept eating, I was going to gain weight. You know what I'm saying? And I kept eating and I gained weight. You know what I mean?
You know what's funny, man? Like we talk about a little bit about this, man. Like when you did come to the ship, man, I didn't know that I didn't know you was the first year either.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember, like, I always, me, when you got there, I was already a senior chief, right?
Yeah, you was a senior chief for sure.
Yeah. So I always get a first year shit, about stuff in the mess, make sure you do this, make sure you do that, blah, blah, blah. And I remember finding out you was the first year, and I was like, man, he just scammed out of all shit. I remember saying that. I mean, man, he did no duties, man. He done nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it was funny as shit.
It was fun, man. It was fun. It was super fun. Look, we ain't even gonna get into veteran erectile dysfunction, man. We ain't even gonna get into that.
We going to, though.
Yeah, we're gonna say that, man. Time. Veterans have a higher rate of erectile dysfunction, study says. The picture here is so horrible that they got it as dude. But we got some stuff, man. We gonna table it. I think we should table it all for the next episode. Because it is late. We recording a little bit later than normal. And I want to get into the book real quick. My book of the week is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. That's the title, Mom. It's not something that I just made up. That's the title. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. What I will say about this book is that I heard a quote from Mark Manson that I assumed was in this book. So I read the whole book trying to find this quote. And I guess it wasn't in this book, right? So that's the first thing I say about it. The second thing I say about it is that however transforming this book was for, and I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on this book, but however transforming this book was for like everybody else who read it, because it's a big time book. I'm sure you heard of it, Damon. It didn't do it for me. It didn't do all that for me. And I don't know if it had to do with the fact that I've read a whole lot. I'm 35 years old. I read a whole lot of self-help books at this point. So I don't know if it was that or what it was, but it just, the angle of, I'm a curse in a self-help book and I'm going to say the word fuck and stuff like that. It was okay, but it didn't do it like all for me like that, except for the last chapter. The last chapter when he started talking about death and how you might as well live because you are going to die type stuff. That last little bit of that book really, really hit. It's like watching like a TV show. And the first 8 episodes are like character development. And then the last episode is crazy. And you like, oh shit, that was a good show or whatever. So the whole book for me was repetitive. It was kind of about him, who he was as a person. He wasn't that great of a person. And I'm not, in comparison to other like self-help books. But then that book is also about like, you don't have to be that great a person. And like all of this, all of this stuff. Like it was really humble, good story. But it just didn't hit me as hard as some of the other books that, I've been reading. I read another book right after that, but I'll get into that next week. It was Start With Why by Simon Sinek, one of my favorite, just people, period, from some of the, I don't know. I heard he got some controversy going on right now, but some of the things he talked about in that book, I like it. And a lot of the things he talked about, I like. But The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson, if I had to rate it, I'd give it like 3 out of 5. I will probably never read it again. I'll probably never. It's some books I'm definitely going to go back to. You have to, Rich Dad Poor Dad, How to Win Friends and Influence. Like all but The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, I guess it wasn't for me. I won't read it again. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's that. I'll tell you what I know about this, like this show that we about to review, right? Hey, this is probably going to be called, this segment should be called Half-Ass Reviews by Damon and Damo, right? So this is what I'm going to say about this show. Did you watch every episode of this show? Okay. All right. That's great. How many episodes is it? 10?
7.
7 episodes. All right. So the name of this show is called The Terminal List, right? So for audience, right, we reviewing The Terminal List. I watched one episode 7 times, right? So episode 1, I watched it 7 times and I fell asleep on the same part of the episode every time. Even when I started from the part I fell asleep on, I still fell asleep on that part. And then I started to wake up on a part of the episode, so I always caught the end. I know the beginning, but I never saw the middle. And for some reason, I think in the first episode, that middle part is like super important. But whenever I see, what's the dude name I'm looking it up right now, and the dude from John Carter, the movie. Whenever I see the dude from John Carter, he also played in Battleship or whatever. What is his name? Taylor Kitsch. Whenever I see him, for some reason, my eyes just get heavy and I fall asleep every time I'm watching this show, right? I'm gonna give you first impressions though. The action was decent. Chris Pratt is in the show. I know Chris Pratt from Parks and Rec. That's where I was introduced to Chris Pratt at, is Parks and Recreation. And then my second kind of Chris Pratt that I'm into is Peter Quill, the Guardians of the Galaxy Chris Pratt. So the kind of silly Chris Pratt, that's the dude that I know of. Is different watching him play like a serious role. And I don't know if if that's like a reason, like a disconnect for me, because I heard great things about the show and stuff like that. It's still taking me a while to take Chris Pratt serious. For some reason, I take John Krasinski, serious as hell. After he played in The Office, I still take him serious. But Chris Pratt was just super silly in Parks and Rec. So I'm still trying to adjust to like this new Chris Pratt that's like an action guy and all that stuff. And I'm sure the show is good, and I'm going to finish the show. So I watched the first part, action, SEALs, cool stuff. Something happened. They were tested or something crazy, which I didn't really get into yet. And then I fell asleep, and then I wake up to his wife and his daughter. Spoiler alert, I wake up to his wife and his daughter dead or whatever like that. Like, so they got killed or whatever. People try to comfort him. They had the scream mask on or whatever mask that was. The dude from The Watchmen or whatever mask that was, they had a mask on, try to kill him, wife and daughter dead. I think if I watch the episode and I get through that middle part, I would like it. But so far, I haven't gotten through that middle part. But what's the deal with the show? Did you like it?
Yeah, man. Love it. I love it, man. Couldn't stop watching it. The storyline hits, man. You're right. They killed this family. So that kind of like started but the thing with him they did testing on him. Don't want to get past this first episode too much though, but they sent them over on a mission, right? But the mission was pretty much to get people more money and power because they experimented a drug on them, right? So it was to sell this drug, right? So everybody over there supposed to have died that went over there, but everybody died except him.
Yeah.
Right. So he didn't die. So he came back. So they tried to finish it up.
Oh,
what I mean? So no loose string type deal. And that's why they killed this family. And they tried to kill when they killed this family, they tried to kill him too. Because he was doing an MRI type deal. But they tried to kill him, but he killed them and he came back home and found out his family was dead. So that's kind of the first episode. So, but I want also the viewers to know too, this is not I guess it's some kind of way some people was thinking that it was based on a true story. It's not based on a true story, but it is based on a author that was a Navy SEAL. I think his name is Jack Carr, right? So he write these fictional novels. So it's based off his books. That this story is based off of. So that's kind of probably where we get that real Navy SEAL, because it's some real the terminology, the stuff he's doing. Seems like they brung SEALs in. You can tell some of the stuff they was doing in the show. But it was pretty good, man. And I wish the only bad part I got about reviewing this whole thing that now I have to go back and watch the whole episode. I kind of want to get in and just go in the whole, whole thing. But I want to keep it at that episode because it's very important, man. Like the steps and what he's doing to get to where it ends at. And where it ends at is another crazy part of the show, man, how it twists.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get to the end. So I want to keep it there. But great show, man. I love it. First episode ended ridiculous because I never thought when I saw his family right there, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I didn't think that was
it's about to get crazy.
Yeah, I didn't think that was
about to get crazy. So I don't want to get into because the first episode does not talk about the experiment. It don't talk about what is actually wrong with him. So all that stuff gonna come out, man. So I don't want to get too much into it, but it's a great show. Keep watching it, man. Get into it.
Hey,
everybody out there, it's a great show.
You know what I don't like though about some military stuff though? I don't like when they force the names of like installations. So for instance, like in that episode, for instance, he's like, you want to go to something? He's like, no, I'm gonna go to Balboa. Like I didn't like hearing Chris Pratt say Balboa. Like
it didn't sound right.
I never said Balboa. Like I said, y'all, I'm going to medical. I'm going to medical. If I go anywhere, I'm going to Balboa. Like, no, I'm going to medical, man.
Yeah.
Like, like Bethesda, like Walter Reed. I'm going to Walter Reed Medical Center. Like, no, like that's the only thing. Like that, like they do that so you could like know it's a military thing. Like, oh, this is a military show. You see, he said Balboa. Like he knows what. Like I don't know that them James be killing me though, man.
He did his research.
Yeah. Like them James, it's like that Fresh Prince show when they saying like the word John because they supposed to be from Philly and they saying it. The dude said it all John. Like they said it all wrong. Like that's not how Philly people say it. You know what I'm saying? Hey. For the listeners, we hope that you had an awesome experience with us today. We know we breezed through a whole bunch of stuff, just kind of catching back up. It's been a while since we did this together. Thank you all again for our biggest month ever, and we hope that you continue to support us. Love you.
Most definitely, man. Holla at your boy, Mississippi Stand Up. Hey, football season, go Niners, man. Philly sup.